Welcome to the Audaci-Tea, the podcast by women, for women, and of course, anyone else brave enough, willing to listen. My name is Lisa, and I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, Sovereign Woman and Gwen. Welcome, ladies.
Hello, hello. Y'all.
It's so good to be back, and I'm so thankful for the birthday wishes that I've been reading online today. Thanks so much, y'all. And as always, we'd like to give a warm studio welcome to our brand new TVIP subscribers. We have Ember Leah in the house and Diana. Welcome, ladies.
Woo! And welcome.
Thank you so much for the support on Patreon, y'all. We appreciate all of our members. We have a free tier. We try not to gatekeep anything other than our crumpets segment, which is basically a little mini show that we typically record after we're done recording the big show. But other than that, everything that we have is open and available to all of our members. So please get on in there and you can vote in the polls. You can comment on the blogs. We have like chats open for different tiers as well. So we would love to see you all in there. And without further ado, today we'll be speaking on, unfortunately, how the patriarchy is very much complicit in men's crimes and vice versa. The way that the patriarchy protects men and men protect the patriarchy. But before we dive into that kind of disheartening topic, what's the tea, ladies?
Did we bring up the Candace Owens and Princella thing last week?
I don't think we got the chance to really talk about it.
Yeah, so did everybody watch it?
I watched Princella's breakdown of it.
Yes, which was so great.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I really like about her is that, first of all, she has like 7 million different looks, number one. And she always knows
you never
what
know what
looks.
She's gonna
you never
pop
know.
out
You
with.
never know what
it.
look she's going to come out with, but she always knows which look to use for whatever event that she's going to or debate or whatever it is. Like I just love that, and she's so good at it. She's good at her with her makeup and how she chooses to wear her hair, and everything down to her clothing like really embodies whatever message that she's giving out that day. So even if she's just like in a barbershop and you know, chopping it up with the guys, you know, she'll have a fit with her hat and it'll be backwards or whatever. And it just, she serves every fucking time.
I love it.
It just
her
adds
jewelry
to it.
Too. I always look at her jewelry. I'm like,
like, yes, I know. That interview with her and Princella really exposed that she's not as, I don't want to say she's not as intelligent as I thought. That's not the right word.
It's more like the kind of things she relies on to make her points are very flimsy. Like, I think that's what that exposed.
Yes.
It's all good as long as nobody questions her actual premises.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't even believe even she thinks some of these things. Like I have to believe like
I know.
I don't believe
building
she's
her house on sand. She's building her house on sand. Exactly.
You make your platform all about rage bait and rage engagement. I can't believe that you, even years later, after all this debate and discussion, you still hold on to those same principles like your life depends on it. Like I can't even believe
because
that
it does. It does. It pays her bills. Yeah.
I guess,
I really, and you know what's crazy? I kind of always thought in the back of my mind she was a grifter because the stuff that she would say about like white supremacy and black people, there was certain things that she said I agree with when she would say black people need to, like, at some point you have to like take responsibility for your own life. She would say stuff like that, and I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. But then it was a lot of stuff, and it's like, girl, really? Are you tone deaf? Did you not like grow up black? That episode of the Jubilee episode with Princella, I had questions about her being a grifter before. After watching that, my questions were answered. I'm like, she's 100% a grifter because she couldn't. It's almost like somebody gave her a script. Somebody in the white supremacy stratosphere or whatever gave her a script and no backing to the script outside of patriarchal rhetoric and anti-feminist rhetoric or whatever, but like really no deep meaning behind any of it. Just say these things. And when you come up against somebody like Princella, I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care how many degrees you have or how well-versed you are, how whatever. It doesn't matter. When you come up against somebody like her, she's going to ask all the important questions that nobody asked you. She's going to get you to think about things you've never thought of before. And your argument is automatically going to fall flat because she don't have anything to back up her actual claims. Like she would just say stuff. And then I noticed over the last few years or the last year or two, she's been basically changing her stats or whatever to I feel like, I believe, as like a scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this,
plausible
I believe
deniability.
this. Yeah. And so it really exposed to me that she is a grifter. Like, I'm like, there is no way you believe this stuff, because if you really believed it, you would have things to back it up, and your argument would not fall flat. Especially, and Princella wasn't even bringing her best information. She was barely scratching the surface. So imagine if they had given her more time, which I don't know. What did y'all think about the fact that they like voted her out? Like, I don't know. I don't know how long it actually was, but for shows, they always cut and edit stuff out. So I don't know how long, but it seemed like she was only there for 5 minutes. And then they're like, oh, you've been voted out. And I'm just like, why? She was making too much sense. I mean,
exactly. Cause I think,
but I don't know the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah. It wasn't too like grippy, I guess, to watch. Like it wasn't like getting enough attention, I guess, or they thought like maybe like I have a better talking point, like let me jump in there.
They didn't understand she was trying to like dismantle it like really from the like they weren't seeing
from the root,
the vision.
Yeah, from the Socratic method.
Because when you watch her, exactly, the Socratic method, because when you watch her other debates, it's like she does need time to really dig into the root of the issue, and people are just not that patient, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
She really, say what you will about Princella, but she is like a top of the line debater.
Totally agree.
Like the way that she is so genuinely dispassionate. I think that's what gets a lot of people, and it's the reason why I don't debate, because I will start I'll start fighting people. Yeah, I'll either cry or I'll try to fight you. So
if it's another woman, I'll cry, but if it's a man, I'll throw hands.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Yeah, I'm not dispassionate like that. So I always admire that about her, because that's a skill. That's a skill, because I get frustrated and I lose sight of the actual like,
she will sit there as calm as can be.
So calm.
Like you will never see her feathers ruffled, like ever. Like she's just like, and she don't yell and raise her voice. She's just like, they hear the facts.
She's locked in.
I'm going to say, and it's like, that's just it. So
I respect that.
And it's so funny too, because I saw these comments a few times in whatever video I was watching about it, and I thought the same thing. So when I saw these comments, I was like, it almost looked like Candace was like sort of mesmerized by Princella. Did y'all get that vibe? It was almost like she just wanted to just concede and say, you know what, you are so right, but she couldn't. Because she's a grifter and she had to stay on code with whatever her shit is or whatever she felt like she had to say. But it was almost like it would not surprise me if she hit her up in the DMs later. Like
she couldn't interrupt as much. She wasn't like in the middle of some of those debates. Like Candace, she kept like interrupting people and like not even letting them finish their sentences. Right. But when Princella was there, she knew she couldn't do that with her, because
I wish we could have seen that spark through.
Because Princella, she commands a certain type of like respect, or I can't really figure out the words right now, but she just has a demeanor where like people are going to listen. People are going to stop, whether you agree or not, whether you don't want to listen, whether you're shutting it all out, you're still going to respect her as you're sitting there talking to her, because she gives off that sort of vibe. And Candace folded like a fucking lawn chair on the inside.
You could see it in her eyes. The light just like left.
But she was like, oh wow, somebody that's actually gonna question, she wasn't ready for that at all.
No, I don't think, and none of those other people were there ready for that either, because it takes somebody with that sort of finesse to be able to execute the Socratic method so succinctly as Princella can do it. Because I have yet to see that in other people. Like I think Dean Withers does a good job of doing that, and also there's a couple other ones I can't remember the name of right now off the top of my head. But whenever Charlie Kirk went to, I think it was Harvard. No, it was Oxford. I think it was Oxford, and he had like a debate with those rich Ivy League kids, and he couldn't hold a candle to them with their level of intelligence, and they came prepared. And I think all he had was just a script to follow, and he was just talking on those little points. But these kids have a degree, or they're working towards like a law degree or a political science degree. Like, hello.
And they're taking
like, you
it
really
seriously.
Thought, yes. And like, I can't believe they even wanted to entertain him. Cause like Okay, and I used to think this was such like an elitist thing to do is like, you know, if you don't have like an economics degree, I don't want you to talk to me. Or like if you don't have a degree in something, like I don't think you should be talking. But now that I'm about to
we
have
need to
one,
do that more.
and I hear
need to
people
do that
talking
more.
about economics and they really do think like it's some machine that the president can control, like a lever or like a button they can push to like make everything.
God.
And it's like, no, that's not how that works. And so now I do require you to have at least taken like 2 or 3 courses in like junior college
And those are the people
about
who
economics
are voting.
to talk to me. I
Those
know.
are people who are
And like,
voting.
there's just no way your vote counts as much as mine sometimes. Like I look at these people and I'm like,
swear.
it's nothing but air up there in between those
Yeah.
ears. Like I know there's nothing going on back there. Like the light is on and ain't nobody home. And that's what we say in Texas.
Yeah. I love that.
The elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. But
Yeah.
and
Not the sharpest tool in the shed. That's my
not
favorite
yet.
one.
And I saw that a little bit with Candace Owens because I can't believe she sat there and really said out loud that like we live in a matriarchy. In
Oh
that
my
Jubilee
God.
debate.
That's
Like,
how
how do you
I
do-
could when she said that, I was like, she's a grifter. She's being paid to say this stuff.
That's a
Like,
red pill.
There's no because to me, she's too intelligent. She's not very well versed in the type of shit that Princella knows, but she's too intelligent to not. Because I started following Candace Owens during the pandemic, and she went in on some lawmaker or policymaker one, and I came across when I tell y'all she didn't stutter, she just went. But then over time, I just felt like she was bought. Like I just felt like she was just another one of those people who were just bought. Like they're paying you or they're sponsoring you to say certain things or whatever. And it's unfortunate because I always thought she was just this cute little, you know, I don't know. I just hate to see it.
It's and
she
it's like,
is what she could have been. What's her name? The other black politician, the Democrat. I can't think of her name right now.
Jasmine Crockett?
Jasmine Crockett. She could have easily been a Jasmine Crockett, but she sold out. Like to me,
exactly.
That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
In this current zeitgeist that we have going on, that's like very fascist, right wing, red pill type shit. It is more profitable now to be a right wing grifter.
It is.
Yes.
Than any other. I guess like if you had tried to do this shit in like 2015 or like 2010, it would not have worked. But now in 2025, if you chose to start, you know, selling conspiracy theories on your own podcast, you can make quite a bit of money. So
You really can.
I've thought about doing it.
Something to think about, ladies. I know.
That's so real.
And like selling my little.
I can't do it, y'all.
Selling
Somebody
some
could call me
crazy
tomorrow and be like, "We're going to offer
merch.
you $10 million." And if I ever did it, I will find a way to tell y'all, "Look, I'm just doing this for the money. I don't actually
right?
do it." I will find.
I
You
think
know
there
what
would
I
be
mean? Like, I
signs.
wouldn't be able to live with myself. Like I just.
Oh yeah, when y'all see me on the new TikTok, dressed up as a trad wife, you know, the US version.
Exactly.
Don't, you know what I mean?
Don't take it seriously.
Narc me out. Yeah, for real. Like
When I start selling
snitches get
amulets that
stitches,
protect
okay.
you against Wi-Fi signals or radio waves, just know I'm just getting my bag. Like
Exactly. Because y'all, I get it. I get the allure. I get the temptation. I do. But certain things you just should not be easily bought. Like, I get it, though.
No.
A lot of people are
And
like, I need that money, you know, but
yeah.
I don't think it's worth it. Can you look at yourself in the mirror?
She's going to find out that there is an end of that road, right?
Yes.
Like when we start
I think she
sliding
already
full
figured it out,
on
honestly.
into white supremacy as a country, like she's gonna get booted off the train. You know what I mean?
I feel like
She's
she
gonna
already
get booted
has.
off the
You know what
MAGA
I think
train.
happened? I think she was kicked out by certain people from certain groups, and she
That's
was
what
picked
always
up.
happens.
But she was picked up by another group. So I don't think that's what I'm thinking happened, because she tried to rebrand for a quick minute because I'm so disgusted with Trump and this is not the man that I voted for, which I'm sure that took a lot out of her. It took everything out of her to admit that. But I think she tried to rebrand a little bit. But I think some other people on that same side probably picked her up and she's like back to the grift. But eventually, yes, unfortunately, and I hate to make this a race thing, but every black person that voted for Trump or that was for Trump literally found their end really quick. We're talking within a year or two. Like, so it's the same thing's going to happen to her. She might be on the ride just a little bit longer because she has a white husband and apparently he's rich or something. I don't know the truth or the story behind that. Whatever. She might have a little bit of a longer run, but you're right. She's going to meet the same end. And it's so unfortunate because what a waste, you know, because she has she got so much potential and I just hate that for her. But hey, she made her bed. So, you know. And I still don't like what she said about child-free women. So she can kiss my ass on that one.
Yeah.
But I still want the best for her. I know that sounds crazy, but like I hope she finds whatever peace she's looking for. I hope she comes to grips with what she's done to herself and her legacy or whatever, because it's just not a good look.
It's not a good look. It's such a finite game, and triangulation is really what the patriarchy does best. All they have to do is triangulate women against each other. That's all this is. At the end of the day, that's all that Candace Owens is kind of doing. Like, that is her place in this MAGA sphere or whatever. It's just to be a woman who is intentionally used as a triangulation device. Like, oh, well, here's a Black woman who doesn't, stand with like BLM or whatever. She's actively against that. So she's proof that, some kind of proof or whatever. Like, it's very much tokenism. It's very much like, oh, well, look at this woman who is powerful and whatever, but she has kids and stuff like that. And it's like, well, where are her kids now? Like,
how
she's
many kids
out
y'all
here,
think she gonna end up having?
Probably, honestly, probably not many, because she's a businesswoman. Like, that's what I'm saying. These trad wives,
like 3 now or something.
These trad wives are not really trad wives at all. Who's with your kids right now?
They getting knocked up. They getting knocked up like they trad wives though. They getting knocked up like they some Mormons.
I mean, I would too if I could have. They can afford like night nurse. They can afford nannies.
Yes.
Like,
Now
they're not
they
telling
can.
other women this.
No.
Now they can, but I mean, when that gravy train stops, then what?
I don't know. Then they're going to have to deal with the consequences of their actions. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it only takes you so far, right? They set you up and then they knock you down as a woman, because you were just being used to triangulate. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about, anything like that. They're just literally using you to make other women, to plant seeds of doubt in other women's mind that like, oh, maybe we don't need feminism. Maybe like, whatever, here's this woman and she's successful and she's being embraced by the right and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not the reality.
Who don't like her in real life.
They don't like her. Exactly.
And they learned that they could do that because they did that to Asian women first. That whole like model minority thing is because they did that with Asian women first, or the Asian community first. Because during like the Chinese Exclusionary Act, they excluded like most Asian people from coming over, but that's also when they started like conditionally letting in like other East Asians, like the Japanese and the Koreans. But you had to have like certain qualities about you. Like, you had to be like entrepreneurial, you had to be smart, you had to be like a scientist, or like all these things that I guess would nowadays qualify you for an Einstein visa in today's world. But they were just sending those people in and propping them up and being like, see, it is possible for us to like other minorities or people who don't look like us, because look at these communities, look how well they're doing, and look at y'all. And like they would point the finger at like other Black and brown communities and being like, see, why can't you be more like these Asian people, the ones that we imported for already having Einstein-like qualities. And like that's also where the stereotype came from, with Asian people being like good at math and being super good at science and whatnot. That came from that model minority stereotype.
Because I've always believed that.
It's true and it's not true. I think that for East Asians, we're a lot more disciplined when it comes to our education, because our parents instilled those values in us at super young age to be competitive.
Look at the education system.
And their education there is top
system
tier.
Over there. Like, it's top tier.
But it's also very, very competitive.
I've always admired that about y'all. The discipline. Yeah. That's huge.
I mean, even coming from Ukraine, like, and into the American education system was like falling off a cliff.
Really?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
My mom still talks about how outraged I was when I came home from the first day of like 6th grade. And I was like, they had me like color a little horse, and then they like put it on the wall to race the other horses of like how much we were all reading. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I haven't seen a colored pencil. Like, I felt so insulted. I was like, I literally just finished like algebra, like in 4th grade, like 5th grade or whatever. Like, this is crazy. The American education system. I spent 1 year in 6th grade, fresh off the boat, mind you. I spent 2 weeks in ESL and I got kicked out. And by 7th grade, my teachers had recommended me for all honors classes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the American education system for you. Took me
Yes, we
1
are
year.
so cooked,
1
bro,
year.
like compared to other countries.
And it's only gotten worse. I mean, that system compared to whatever they're teaching kids in school today is like top of the line. Like, are you freaking kidding me?
You just reminded me of a teacher I had in middle school. Everybody had this guy at some point. Like everybody in the school had this man named Mr. Carpenter. His whole thing was you were literally gonna get an A in his class just by showing up. Like, and the stuff he had us doing was like, who could get done doing the crossword puzzle first, you know, and shit like that. And everybody who had this teacher, which is pretty much everybody in the school had him at some point, all said the same thing about he was cool and laid back. It was almost like he was, now that I'm older, it's making me wonder, you know, all the teachers are now like quitting and not, you know, they don't want to be a part of the educational system anymore because for many different reasons. Now that I'm older, looking back, I wonder, was that like a fuck you to the system on his part? Maybe. Like, I don't want to teach them this bullshit that y'all want me to teach them, so I'm going to give them an A just by showing up and doing can you find the frog in this photo or in this picture type shit? You know, those pictures that have a whole lot going on and you just got to find certain... That's what we did. There was
always one of those. That's so funny because I also had an English like language arts teacher that was like an older white man, and you could like this one time he let a kid like sleep through the entire class.
That was me.
And he was just like, nobody wake him up. Nobody wake him up. That was like his whole thing. He just wanted to see how long this kid would stay asleep. Yeah. And we just made a whole class out of it.
Yes.
Anyways, that was a lovely tea time, ladies. We gotta wrap up and move on to our next segment. But we'll see y'all after the break. All right, and we're back. And unfortunately, in some very sobering news, Diddy was found guilty on like only half of the charges brought against him.
2 of the 5.
2 of the 5, so less than half. And has apparently received a standing ovation upon walking back into the prison. This is at least according to his lawyer. We don't know if this is true or not. And I'm also not sure why it's a flex that a bunch of like criminals and inmates cheered for him. Like that's supposed to show us something. Like, I don't know. But
amongst men, yeah.
Exactly. And so that's kind of what we're here to talk about. The way that this system supports, like, I think that's the most egregious and despicable thing about the patriarchy is the way that the system is really supports this kind of behavior through and through and through and through. And it not only causes this kind of behavior, but it also excuses it, it supports it, and then it forgives it on the behalf of the women that it happened to, the silenced, voiceless women that were basically, this whole case was nerfed by like statute of regulations type stuff. Like there was a lot they basically couldn't bring to the table of deliberation. And so the jury was forced to decide on certain things with a lack of evidence. And so they were forced to say, like, we don't have enough evidence to convict him on this and this and this, because simply the statute of limitations had run out on those certain evidences, which is terribly, terribly heartbreaking. The fact that Cassie got put through all that on the stand, the fact that many other women were forced to testify, and all for him to not even get half of the charges to stick.
And the charges that he did plead guilty to served the lesser charges. So the more egregious ones were like, RICO, and another one was like prostitution.
I had a feeling they wasn't going to get him on those. I'm not shocked about that, though. That's the thing.
Even though when the feds prosecute?
Yeah, because to me, it would have boiled down to proving it. You have to, like, because RICO, I didn't even know you can even get RICO charges in something by yourself. Essentially, like RICO is usually like this big group of people that's all conspiring to, like, you know, break the law or whatever. From what I understand. I could be wrong about that.
Yes. No, it's just the acronym RICO. It stands for Racketeering and Corrupt Organization. So it's usually like how they bring down like cartels or like gangs and things like that. They try to get, the lowest person on the totem pole and then bring them up to court and try to get them to snitch. And then it goes up from the totem pole from there. And they try to tell the person who originally came in, like, if you, tell us who you're conspiring with, or if you tell us who your suppliers are in this like drug ring you got going on, you can get off on lesser charges, or like, we'll give you a less harsh sentence. So yeah, and a lot of them they fold.
But here's the thing: in that case, it's like, who are the people? Because it didn't seem like he had a bunch of powerful people or anybody that was really running this organization. It was just random. I don't know who it was. I'm just telling y'all what I thought in my mind. Like, it's just these random yes men around you, like that, want to be in a video, and this person wants to be a producer, and that person wants to be a fucking whatever. You just got these random people that you are kind of like telling what to do. And I just always felt like he treated everybody shitty. His partners, his friends, his colleagues, the people at the record label. Like, I never got the vibe that there was just this RICO like sort of organization happening. I don't know why. I just knew he was probably going to get off on that. I can't really explain it because me understanding like all the people who have been brought down on RICO charges, it just didn't seem like it applied to his situation in that case. And then what was the other one? The prostitution thing?
Human trafficking and prostitution.
I knew he was going to get off on that too, because a lot of those women were willing participants. All of them were not, but some of them were. So just because some of them were, all the celebrities who were at Diddy parties, like the vast majority of the celebrities were at Diddy parties. They used to brag about it back in the early 2000s. Oh, y'all ain't never been to a Diddy party. The Kardashian, everybody. So you would have to prove that that was sex trafficking. It's also not illegal to have freak-offs. Like, it might be the most disgusting fucking thing to people like us. But is it really illegal to have freak-offs? Is it illegal to be a swinger? Is it illegal to cheat on your wife or husband? No, it's just not. All those things you can do. You can have whatever sex life you want as long as you are not harming children or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just knew he was going to get off because that's the culture that these disgusting men live in. They are all complicit. They all in this together. They all chase after young teenage girls. Like, I don't know who was on that jury. I don't know who the judge was, but I just knew he was going to get off on some of those charges because they all do it. So it's like, we're gonna get him for something. We're just not gonna get him for this.
It's
like,
set up in a way to give men plausible deniability, like the statute of limitations, it's technically not sex trafficking or whatever, even though you had this girl at 18, 19, groomed her 15. And like were 15.
One of them was 15.
So
I think they were probably younger.
That's why I don't think that those women were complicit in a way that like, coercion isn't consent. Because he coerced all those
that's
women.
why Sovereign said some of them. Some of these women were legitimate, SW, and they came and did what they were paid to do.
Right.
And so, but that's why.
And that's why they were able to get away with it, because they could, to me, that was probably the bigger picture. They're going to pay more attention to the women who came and got paid for it than they are the actual victims, like the actual kids or teenagers who were groomed. Because him being rich doesn't make it any better.
And that's like, in my opinion, this is another way of like triangulating women, right? Is to say like, oh, well, here's these like legitimate sex workers. And because of that, because of their presence and because of their willing participation, it kind of washes everything out. And it's very morally confusing to me. And like, it makes it really difficult to kind of like, so where is that line? Like, can you buy consent? What are we really talking about paying for here? Like, what are the sort of other implications of this? And I don't know, you could get into like, it makes it such a gray area with that because it just seems like that was the reason that a lot of the charges got washed. And this is how they triangulate like women and women's issues and legitimate, SW to like delegitimize other women's claims of this was trafficking. So
unfortunately, because there are always going to be pick-me women and women that want to be accepted and women who need male validation, this problem is never going to go away.
Or women who need money. And
women who need money and they don't have any other options. Like, a lot of women go become strippers and stuff because they're like, they got put out at a certain age or they don't have any family and they just feel like they have to do this in order to make some quick money. But it's like, it's never going to go away, unfortunately, it seems, because those women will always exist. The one thing I can tell women, and I was just watching Queen Sovereign's video this morning. It's actually old. you know how sometimes you click on stuff and it says, oh, this was 3 months ago. I thought it was recent until I saw it was 3 months ago. But she was talking about that every woman needs to have the mindset that it's all men until it's no men, because that's the only way you will protect yourself. It's not to say it's a foolproof method, but it's to reach the maximum amount of self-protection is to say it's all men, because women going to these parties and going to clubs and going places where men congregate just to take advantage of women, because typically that's what clubs are for, and bars and whatever else. That's literally what it's for men to find women. Yeah, the dating apps and all of that stuff. Because I'm always thinking about when guys get away with this stuff, typically it is because women are putting themselves out there to be like chosen or picked or whatever. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. If
at the
women
risk of not
stopped,
victim blaming.
No, right. But I'm saying if women stopped, remember when Shar Henley came on and we were talking about the Femme Freeze thing? And we were saying we were going to boycott the nightclubs and the bars and the dating apps and all that stuff to not give men any access to you in the first place. That's the way that this will slow down. I don't think it would completely eliminate, because of course men rape women, they assault you, I just saw that video about the girl who woke up with a broken jaw and missing teeth because she went out for a drink with her coworker and she woke up the next morning and didn't remember what happened, and everybody's speculating that he beat her up or kicked her down the stairs or whatever. I don't know, but I'm just saying situations like that, and it's not to necessarily say like victim blame, but a lot of times if you just avoid these men, like if she had never gone out with him, that wouldn't have happened. It's not to say it's her fault, because it's not. But I'm just saying if you go into protective mode, which I know it's hard because we have to share a society with men, right? But you don't have to go on dates. You don't have to be on these dating apps. Like, you don't have to do that. And so, like Gwen said, at the risk of sounding victim blaming, which I'm not trying to do, but we still, as women, we still have to do our very best to look out for ourselves and not put ourselves in situations to be victimized. Not saying that somebody can't break in your house in the middle of the night while you're away from men and minding your own business, and a man can come in and attack you. We know that. You can be attacked leaving Walmart. We know that. But a lot of times this happens to women who put themselves out there in the first place. And I know that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm talking about this whole Diddy situation. Like, if women didn't show up to Diddy parties, like, I'm just using this as an example. Like, it just would have been men who were victimized. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is probably what he preferred anyways.
But the men wouldn't come if there was no women.
I know.
The men wouldn't come.
And that's where we have our power. That's why I'm saying, like, women can take our power back, because when you go to these places, yes, you can have fun. I used to party a lot, especially in my 20s, early 30s. Like, I partied a lot. But I never left a drink unattended. I never let guys buy me drinks. And if I did, it was because I knew them. Like this is like a best friend, or like my, you know what I mean? And even then, you never leave your drink. Never get drunk around people you don't know. Have a drink, maybe two, but not to the point where you don't know what's going on. So you have to like protect yourself. You can't think you're in a environment where everybody has your best interest at heart. 9 times out of 10, you're in an environment where like 98% of the people there don't have your best interest at heart. The men.
Absolutely. And would take advantage
and
of
would
you
absolutely take advantage of you if they were given the opportunity.
And they view it as like a blanket permission. The fact that you just show up.
The fact that you're there. Yeah.
The fact that you're there, they're like, oh, well, you were here. Yeah. What were you doing there? That's where we get those kinds of questions, because men feel entitled to us to begin with. They feel more entitled when we, quote unquote, voluntarily show up, and they feel the ultimate most entitled when they pay you to be somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a fine line of treating men, like as resources or whatever, but that's where it's going to lead, because men with resources think that they own you. Yep. They think that they own everybody that they share their resources with. Yes. And that sharing is very conditional. And that's where it just makes me wonder, like, that this is probably why men invented money to begin with. Yes. And like, or like really glommed onto that system that women probably invented to, let's be honest, I know for good. And then they took it and ran with it for evil, because now they think they can like buy things. And like, that's where things get muddied, because even if no women showed up to the Diddy parties, the celebrity women were like, no, this is gross. And like, women that they were just inviting. Well, there's always women that are in desperate enough financial need that you can give them not even that much money, and they will show up. And
yeah. And I agree. And this is why on every episode I tell women it is important to not be what I like to call a lazy bitch. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do not be lazy with your livelihood. You need to have your own money. Don't put yourselves in situations where you're going to need them. And that's just me. I got a friend right now. He's like, you're just too independent. But he wasn't saying it like necessarily in a bad way. He was saying it like he's never met anybody like me. He's like, I never met a woman who was not always a damsel in distress. Like,
and his first comment to you was, you're too independent?
No. We've been friends for a couple years. But when I was telling him I was getting ready to build my shed, he was like, why would you build it? Just buy one or order one on Amazon or whatever. And I was like, that takes the fun out of it. I actually want to, I want to be a master woodworker one day for myself. I don't want to actually do it for a living. I just want to do it for me. I want to build things. I want to be able to walk. So right now I can walk into a furniture store and see a stool and look at it and know exactly what lumber they used, what staining material. Like I can look at stuff and tell what they did, how they did it. And so this will be my first time doing the shed thing. And I'm like, I want to actually build it. And he was just like, you really are independent. Like you really would rather be. I've never met any woman like you before, but I get that a lot because I would, that's my mindset. I would rather learn how to fix a fucking roof and do my own roof. You know what I mean? Than to ask a man, because I just don't want to ask a man for shit if I don't have to. And I know that's not realistic for most women to want to do those things, but in all the areas that you can be self-sufficient in this world that we live in, you need to learn how to do as much as you can, because a lot of times these men use you needing help or you being lonely or you not having enough money. They use that against you. And that's how not all women, that's how a lot of these women find themselves in these situations.
Yeah.
If you really think about the situations that a lot of them are in, it has something to do with you were on a dating app in the first place when you shouldn't be on there. Or you needed help because you were a trad wife and you decided to give up your career. Stupid shit to me that y'all shouldn't do. And I'm sorry, and I don't want to sound judgmental when I say that, but that shit is stupid. Like you came in this world by yourself, you're leaving by yourself. So you need to know how to sustain yourself, because people come and go, friends come and go, family come and go, men come and go. You still need, it's good if you have a husband that looks out for you, or a best friend or a mom that looks out for you. That's wonderful. But can you take care of yourself if they were to just disappear overnight? You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, we do not live in a matriarchy. A lot of women are like, I don't dream of labor and I don't want to work and I'm, going through burnout. And I'm like, I've been going through burnout for the past 2 years. Welcome. There's enough room. You know what I mean? We live in cold, hard capitalism.
Yeah.
Cold, hard patriarchy.
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't matter. You don't get to take a break. Like, that's part of our fight as women, is like, once we lean back, and I always thought it was so dangerous, like where we were going with the whole masculine, feminine, gender roles thing, because that's really just the patriarchy repackaged.
It really is.
And it's basically why would you do it if you can just get a man to do it? And it's like, it's fine. I do think that if a man wants to be in your life or whatever, like, he should be willing to do the work and everything like that. But that, to your point, Sovereign, like, you should always know how to do everything that you can by yourself, or have enough money to be able to pay, hopefully, another woman to do it for you, And I feel like that's the kind of time that we need to be on as women, because it's just not practical to depend on a man. Because I heard somebody say this on TikTok and I've not been able to unhear it. But the only reason we think men are protective or whatever, or like useful or whatever, is just because they're territorial.
Yep.
They only do that shit when it's their woman, or like their ego is being insulted somehow.
Yep.
Or, so many women will be like, oh yeah, the surefire way to get your husband to do something without nagging is to go and get his drill and start, just buzz that thing a few times and he's going to come running.
Right.
Well, that's because he doesn't genuinely want to help you. He doesn't genuinely care. He's just like, oh no, but now she's going to do it. And he's either thinking she's going to mess it up, or he's thinking then she's going to go around telling everybody she did it and whatever. So they only really fucking care when it has to do with their pride or their ego or, whatever, paying some other man to do it.
Yep.
Like, they'll get offended if you pay another man to do it.
Especially that one. Even if they don't even know how to do it.
Just know that they're not helping you earnestly, you know, at whatever point, even if they're like, oh, you know, like, let me do it, whatever. A lot of men do it just that,
It's
like, they appear very helpful in the very beginning of the relationship. But then eventually you will be begging them to like nail something to a wall that takes 5 fucking seconds. Because that's another way that they like exercise power over you. Once that they've marked their territory and everybody knows that's their territory, they don't give a fuck.
They sure don't.
They're gonna stop doing all that shit for you. So that's gonna be the case 90% of the time or more.
And for those of y'all who are like, I hear what y'all saying, but no, I'm sorry, I just want to rest in my femininity. I don't really want to do this. That's fine. Like, you have every right to do that. But you're going to suffer the consequences of it sooner or later. And that's the part that we're trying to get.
It's a finite game.
Yeah, it's a canon event, like you always say. You're gonna find out the hard way sooner or later, right?
Yeah. I'm actually of the opinion that more men should be doing manual labor. Then that's less men that had the time to be able to buy microphones and do podcasts and just say misogynistic shit online.
But they're not. They're not.
Because they're not.
They're not because, and that's the thing. They should. I think that's what Princella always.
I agree.
Princella always says men's purpose is for hard slave labor. Like, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be building bridges and houses.
Period.
And the way she said it was funny. Like, she said that's their purpose. Because guys would come up on our panel. They used to come up on there and be like, well, what if you're saying men are incapable of love and this and that and the third? What are men for? Hard labor. That was her answer. Hard fucking labor.
We haven't shipped enough of them out.
They're supposed to be made into firewood to stoke the flames of our success. That's how it's supposed to go.
Like,
no, just like, but seriously,
I agree.
Yeah, women are just gonna suffer the consequences, and you know, some women are just gonna fall by the wayside, and there's nothing we can do about that. Yeah,
absolutely, and every day that becomes more clear. And it sucks because these kind of extreme times are actually going to split us further, which is what I've noticed. I'm really heartbroken to report this, but that is literally what's happening.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, comment sections were like nicer and different back just a couple years ago. I'm telling you, like, the support online used to feel different. Starting this podcast like the day after this last election has really taught me a lot because people were asking me to start a podcast for so long and we have faced basically nothing but criticism every single week.
Oh, I know.
No matter what we try to talk about, no matter what we try to, like, how helpful we try to be, and it's nothing, you know, whatever. This is the arena we've chosen and it is what it is. And we're going to deal with it. We're going to put up with it and we're going to persevere because that's what women have always had to do.
Absolutely.
And I just hate that we have to do it despite other women. Our listenership is not very male. And yet this is what ends up happening. But hard times end up splitting women further because what hard times do is they deprive women of economic opportunity, driving them directly back into the arms of patriarchal, quote unquote, provider men. And that is the way that the patriarchy continues to, like, use men's crimes and, like, the wrongdoings to get stronger.
Yep.
It's like you are so
what
is that? The Hydra, right? You know, you cut one head off and 3 grows back in its place.
Yep.
You know,
positive feedback.
This Diddy verdict is just going to open the door for everybody to think that whatever he was doing was okay.
Yeah.
And it's going to rebrand him in a way that's like, oh, see, you know, y'all tried to bring a man down, you know, especially that he's black. It's definitely going to use that kind of rhetoric to bring him back into the fold. Like, oh, a black man beat the allegations and everybody's mad now. All these white women are mad.
It's gonna make him have this, like, messianic aura of, like, I'm chosen by God to do this shit because look how they try to take me down. Look, like how the Romans try to take down Jesus.
And look how Trump is using it.
I honestly, I'm not worried about P. Diddy. And the reason why I'm not is because he's a rapper, essentially, or mogul now, in the industry that's going to have the exact same demise as all the other ones. He's either going to die of a drug overdose, some freak accident, which is probably not an accident. They're just going to make it seem like one, or he's going to be killed. If you really go back to all of the men in his position from back in the day all the way up until now, they literally all died from one of those 3 ways. So at the end of the day, like, in my mind, and maybe this is just how I'm, like, rectifying it in my mind, that's going to be his end, like one of those 3 ways. So I don't really care. Yeah. Like, it's like there's going to always be women that there's still going to be women that's going to want to go to Diddy parties and you know what I'm saying? And try to get a 100%. Piece of the pie. And so 100%. I have such a no nonsense mindset. Like if that is what women are choosing on purpose at this point, because he's been exposed for years. Ever since I was a teenager, these allegations about him were out. We, back when Biggie was alive, people suspected he was the one who got him killed, Pac, all of them. So these, for us, for the Black community, these allegations have been around since forever. But now there's a lot of people who didn't even pay attention to him or really didn't follow his career like that. And they will state he's exposed now. And they will still want to sign to his record label or still want to be at his parties, whatever. And at that point, that is where I can cut off my sympathy. Like, I literally can cut my sympathy off because I feel like any woman that's still dealing with Diddy from this point on is going to get what she deserves at this point. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's like you have to, at some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. And if you are, one of that woman who was letting somebody pour baby oil on her and you think this shit is cute, and then you end up in 5 years with some rape allegations because he done let 5 men run a train on you and now you're crying. I promise you I'm not going to give a fuck. I'm just being honest. I'm going to just be like, well, at this point, I'm getting to that point where it's like the women who are choosing patriarchy, you're going to get your just cause. Like it just is what it is. I don't know what else to say. I'm only going to reserve my sympathy for women who are actual victims. Like the ones who literally was attacked coming out of Target and wasn't bothering anybody. But a woman at a Diddy party, like, in something bad, I'm sorry. Like, at this point, there is no excuse. I'm reserving my empathy for women who are actually victims.
Yeah, because you can't, as a woman, you have to understand you cannot play this game.
You can't, and you're not going to win.
You can try, but it is going to end very, very, very badly for you. And approximating yourself to rich, dangerous men,
and they all are 9 times out of 10,
is literally exactly how you get got. Like, because they are dangerous and they're rich. That is literally the 2 things that the patriarchy loves it when men are. Both of those things. Yep. Rich, dangerous men, that's exactly what makes the patriarchy go round and round and round. And it's to the point where we have a rich felon in office running this country exactly as a rich felon would. Yep. And we're surprised. I mean, and every day it's like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's because the system is working. Yeah, the system is working as intended. Like it's working as intended. This is actually exactly what the system was meant to do. And this is why all of those rich, powerful men who had previously been aligning themselves with Democrat values and voting blue and everything like that, they aligned themselves with Trump right away. They got straight in line because that is exactly what they want the patriarchy to do for them too. They're just mask off with it now. Oh, did y'all hear that there's apparently no Epstein files at all anymore? Yeah, the DOJ.
We should have said that in the tea time.
Oh no, yeah, I saw something on that Elon posted, but I was
not Elon. The FBI posted a whole thing that was like, yeah, there's no evidence of any flight logs. There's no evidence of
it's because Donald Trump's all over it.
Patriarchy at work.
At work, exactly. And I'm like, I wonder if this is why like he was scrambling so bad to get into office and why he got into office at any cost, aka
and all these other billionaires scramble behind him too because they're probably in on it as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
All he have around him is yes men and yes women. That's it.
I want to circle back to what we were talking about earlier about just overall harm reductions for women, about, not going out, not doing this, not doing that. And like, that's, I don't know, I disagreed with that part just because I think that's still reinforcing patriarchal values because that's exactly what men want us to do. They want us to be scared. They want us to not have joy. They want us to not go out. They want us to like be these, meek, mild, perfect victims. And I think that whenever I see, something like the Epstein case and whatnot, I just see an entire system. Like it's a systematic thing. It's not like an individual perfect victim case-by-case basis. I think it's this entire, I know we've been talking about like the system as well, but like it all comes down to just the higher up like oligarchy, like this capitalistic system that reinforces itself. And it was never meant to benefit the poor, the women, and Black and brown people just as a class. Like the pecking order is so, it's never been more clear. And I don't think it has anything to do with like, perfect victim status. It's just everything to do with the system that is corrupt from the top down. I still think that we're sending the wrong message there by telling women to just, accept that this is the system the way it is, instead of like, I don't know, I feel like there's still a chance for us to fight with legislation and rewriting the ways that we execute the laws in men's favor. Because like this was all back before we were even allowed in the room to make these policy decisions or even write these laws. So now that we have this, newfound power, as long as we have it, because God knows how much longer, but while we still have this, we should be hopefully, rallying behind, maybe even lobbying. Like go and like hire this lobby group to kind of make these changes in favor of us now.
This is not about telling women to be scared to go out. I'm saying ways you can reduce your chances of being traumatized. I'm not saying that you have a foolproof method by not going out and not doing this. I'm saying you can reduce without sounding victim blamey. Is it safe to say that these women who were drugged at parties, for an example, it probably wouldn't have happened had they not gone to the party with all these men? Without sounding victim blaming. Like if I go outside and I stub my toe and step on a nail at 3:00 in the morning, would that have happened if I would have waited until it was light outside and I did? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a situation where it's like, you still have to live your life. I'm not saying be scared to go outside. I'm saying, why put yourself in situations where men are just going to prey on you in general, which I know men prey on us from the time we wake up in the morning to the time we go back to sleep. But I'm saying going to these types of parties, going to the clubs, going to bars, letting male coworkers take you out for drinks, and then you wake up tomorrow, you don't know how the fuck you got there.
I think Gwen might be trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if men actually had consequences for doing those things, then maybe it wouldn't be such an epidemic. And I understand like where both of you are coming from, because obviously, like, yeah, if every man on this, or at least even in this country had the proper fear of God in him, right? That we take women seriously, and if a woman is going to show up to the police station the night after a party and say, hey, something bad happened to me, somebody's actually going to come to your house and cuff you up and like take you in and like do the questioning, and like we're going to get down to the bottom of it. But it's because men know that women are not believed, that they do this shit left and right. Because they know other men are going to have their back and da-da-da. So what Sovereign is saying is, within that system, what should women do? Like, we cannot act like that doesn't exist. We can't act like that's not the reality. That is the reality. Even in the year 2025, even after the Me Too movement actually caused a huge backlash to believing women. And, now men have all of these, they're emboldened by this Diddy case, if anything, to be like, oh, well,
I agree. I do agree to that point.
And this is why the patriarchy oppressing us more tends to drive down and squash the feminist movement apart, and like tends to bring women apart. Because when you start pointing that out and you start saying, hey, ladies, things are getting less safe outside, you might need to stay inside. And then it's like, oh, you're victim blaming. And that's a understandable criticism, but it's also like, this is how the system like triangulates us. Once again, it does everything to be like, no, it's not safe outside. Like, women shouldn't do this. What were you wearing? Why were you there? Etc. And then it doesn't punish men for those things. So then when women try to tell each other like, hey, if you end up going out and getting hurt because you went to a party where you didn't know a lot of people, where you didn't keep an eye on your drink or whatever, all that, and then something bad happens to you, there's an extent, there's only so much that's going to be able to be done for you by the justice system because of the way that it's been set up and the precedents that are in place right now. And so you may want to reconsider that. But then there's also the valid criticism of why do women have to pay for men's crimes? And it's because we live in the patriarchy.
Yes.
We literally have to pay for men's crimes. Like, that is what it is if we want to be safe.
In a world where men are not punished, because that's the reality we're living in right now in
it's at our
2025.
expense.
Yes, it is. And there's nothing we can do about it. So that's just like, I'll use this example really quick. I think men who put their hands on women are weak. Like, they're pathetic, right? So there could be a woman that says she can go up to a man and slap him or whatever. And then let's say he punches her back, like, blackens her eye. And then she's like, you're not supposed to hit me. I'm a woman. You're weak and pathetic and blah, 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 blah. I'm a woman. You're supposed to be a man. You're supposed to be the protector. You're not supposed to put your hands on me. I'm going to tell that woman, listen, every man is not raised with the mindset that you're not supposed to hit a woman. There are plenty of men out there, and I know from personal experience in my own family, where they were taught, beat her ass if she put her hands on you.
They're waiting, in fact, for
They're
that
waiting
chance.
for you to do that because they already want to beat a woman's ass so bad. So
because they believe that's equality.
Absolutely.
And they can't wait to show y'all equality.
They can't wait to show you. Yeah. So my thing is, it's not victim blaming. It's about pick your battles. Because at the end of the day, I'm not finna go up to no man.
Which is what the patriarchy forces us to do. It forces us to pick our battles. Yes. And it forces us to live in fear. Yes, like you said, Gwen. But that fear is legitimate because it gives men permission to do the kind of things that, like, most women would never even think to do, right? Most women, like Sovereign was saying earlier off air, that, like, laws are made for men. Like, laws are not made to keep women in line. Yeah. Look at how many women perpetrate any of what our laws are supposed to protect us against. Like, women are not the perpetrators of this kind of stuff, especially violence and murder. Yeah. So we literally have laws against these people, and we have to share a planet with them. Yes. And they are only being given permission to, like, do more. And they will do more. It's like minimum wage, right? If they could pay you less, they would. If the age of consent was less, they would do it. Yeah. If there was less punishment for them raping women and killing women, whatever, they would do it more. Yeah. Because they do that in other countries where they're not as punished for it. Yeah. They do it more. And so, yes, Gwen, I completely agree that, like, the recourse needs to be there. But when we can see with our own eyes that an entire jury just found a man not guilty on, like, more than half of the charges, just simply because they're like, well, this system is designed to only protect women to a certain extent, and it's ultimately designed to protect men. Yep. And so when we start seeing the feedback, right, when we start understanding how these laws are going to be interpreted in the Trump era or what have you, we have to make conclusions based off of that. We cannot act like that's not actually happening. Like, that's not our reality. And we should still fight, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I see your point.
But that's what I was saying, though. Like, everybody can rally around that woman and say, you're right, he's not supposed to put his hands on you. But my whole thing is, why am I going to antagonize you and walk around now with missing teeth? Because I felt like you were not supposed to put your hands on me as a man. When I know there's plenty of men out there who don't give a fuck about putting their hands on you, kids, old ladies, they don't give a damn. So you have to pick your battles. So we live in a system where men are typically getting away with murder. Like, they're getting away with whatever, and on a grand scale. And so what do we do in the meantime? Because we can talk about what we can do about the laws need to change. I don't see them changing anytime soon, but that's just me. Like, this patriarchy been going on for hundreds and maybe thousands of years now. Who knows? I don't see shit changing anytime soon. So in the meantime, until the laws change, what can women do to protect themselves? And my thing is, I don't care more about punishing men more than I care about keeping myself safe. At the end of the day, I don't want a black eye. I don't want to be killed and thrown in a river because I went to a party and I had on a skirt and they felt like, oh, she's a whore because her skirt is short. I'm just not going to go to the party, and I'm going to increase my chances of survival and not being raped and whatever else just by not going. Not to say any woman who went I'm not victim blaming you. I'm pointing out a reality that if you stay away from certain situations, there are certain things that you minimize the risk. It's just a
zero-sum game.
Yeah, you're minimizing your risk, and that's all it is. But if you feel like you need to if you have the mindset as a woman, I should be able to wear what I want and I should be able to do it. Do you suffer the consequences behind it though? Like that's I'm sorry. Like you're either going to keep yourself safe as much as you can or you're not. Because we don't live in a fairy tale world, in a perfect world where we could wear what we wanted. We don't have to worry about being catcalled. We don't live in that world, so we can't make decisions based on living in that world that doesn't exist.
And this is not fun to hear. And I know, like, we're already used to getting, backlash. So I already fucking know what the comments are gonna say. And go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. But don't act like we all don't do this subconsciously. Do you know what I mean? When I was leaving my house
Keeping
today,
a guard up.
knowing that I'm not going to be, my husband's not coming with me, knowing that I will be seen outside, whatever. I'm wearing long pants, even though it's summer. Like, because I've tried it the other way, right? And I've tried the advice of, no, just wear whatever you want. It's 2020 something, like men can't tell you what to wear. No, they can't tell me what to wear. But they can certainly feel entitled to my body because of what I wear. I'm not saying that that's right for them to do, but that's what they're gonna do. Yeah. And then they're gonna try to talk to me, and then they're gonna get pissed off when I don't say anything back, and then they're gonna harass me down the street. Yeah. So because of that, I'm like, well, I better wear these baggy pants, right? Like when Beyonce brings her daughter out on tour, you will never see her until she's probably of a certain age and can make those decisions for herself. Beyonce will not allow her to be in tight, form-fitting clothing. That girl always has baggy pants on because of the reality. Yeah. Because of the reality. And I want her to be able to wear whatever she wants. Same. I'm sure that she feels some type of way about why is all the other dancers wearing a cat suit and I'm wearing loose pants, I don't fit in. I don't look, but it is what it is. It's a safety thing. Yeah. And, there's women on the New York City subway. Women often talk about, the influencers talk about, this is my subway outfit. And then I take it off and there's my actual outfit once I get to the place where I'm safe, where I'm going. Yeah. And it is awful and terrible. And we're just saying that we're going to have to become more vigilant like that because of the administration, because of what we see happening, the feedback, right? The feedback that we're getting from the top down is that women are not safe. And so when somebody tells you that, believe them. Like, as a woman, believe them. I'm begging you. Yeah. Like when men tell you you're not safe out here, they're fucking telling you the truth.
Then what's the advice we should be telling married women, because they're just as likely to be assaulted in their own homes? Like, sometimes the least safe place for a woman is actually in her own home with her domestic partner.
I say don't get married, but I mean, that's my answer. All right. I'm just, me personally, I mean, Lisa can give a different answer because she's married.
No, I say don't get married. I know the odds. Listen, I know the odds. And you do not want to sign your rights away on a paper. You know what I mean?
So, and we're not saying that if you choose a certain article of clothing that you're going to be safe. We're not saying that either. What we're saying is pick your battles. Pick your battles. I feel like it's the opposite for me. When I dress down, I get the most attention. When I dress up, guys stare, but they don't say anything. So when I really, truly don't want to be bothered, I will dress up for the purposes of not being bothered, because I know I'm going to look high maintenance or like a stuck-up bitch or whatever. And my goal is to get men to leave me the fuck alone. So I'm going to do whatever works for me. But in some areas, it's best for me to look like a bum, wear a cap. I call it look like a bum. Wear a cap, a fitted cap, pants, sweatpants or whatever. In certain areas, I know where to dress wherever I'm going. Like, I just know if I go here, I need to probably wear this, or I shouldn't wear that. So yes, nobody's safe. No woman is safe. The very fact that we're women we're automatically unsafe just by being born into this world. So I'm not saying clothes can save you, but I'm saying if you want to minimize the chances of you being catcalled or harassed or whatever, you have to do what works for you. And that's all we're saying. There's no magic answer to this.
And this is not new advice. Women have always done this.
Absolutely.
Women have
since the
always
beginning
had
of time.
to do this since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And people are going to act brand new when we say this, but get a gun. That's the answer. Get a gun.
Get a gun and
open carry or something. Yeah. Like...
And stay out of Diddy parties. Like, just stay out of places where men are just high on drugs, drunk, and looking to fuck. I
guess that there's like an imbalance of men to women. Like if there's not enough women at the party, or if there's not enough women around in general. But even then, like some women are still male identified and patriarchal. And
but here's the thing: that's the real danger. That's always going to be the case. A lot more women are waking up. So if you want to be that woman that's like, I should be able to wear what I want to wear and go to the Diddy party, guess what? It's only going to be 5 of y'all. So good luck, 5 of y'all and 55 men. Good luck. You're literally you're feeding yourselves to the sharks, because more and more women, club culture is dying, right? A lot of women are like, I'm done with this. What's the point? Especially millennials. Like we've been there, done that. Like we already know the only thing what we used to always say, the only thing that's open that late at night is a liquor store and legs. That's it. There's nothing else that's open. There's nothing else be. There's nothing else out there. We've been there, done that. The only thing out there is to not be safe. To put yourself in
partying with men. It's like. It's like the most exhausting, dumb thing, honestly. Like party with your girls.
When I tell you I agree,
party
100%.
with your girls. There's like women only clubs now. There's, find that and just have fun, because honestly, partying with men is always dangerous. They always take that shit too far.
Yes,
somebody usually gets hurt. Somebody usually gets fucking arrested. Like we've all been through the dumb party stage where it's like, I shouldn't be alive right now. Don't look at us. You know what I mean? Don't look at us and be like, oh, we're the planes that came back from the war. Do you know what I mean? The wounds that you're seeing are not lethal wounds, right? The women that got, you're not hearing from them because they are in a ditch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh my God, I love that.
They're in a, no, I'm sorry.
I know.
It's literally like.
It's true.
To be clear, I am not laughing at that. I'm laughing at
but
it's the way she said it. I'm laughing at the way she said it. I'm not laughing at bodies being washed up.
Because now I'm laughing. And now it seems like we're making fun of like.
No,
I
know. Y'all, we are not making. I'm not laughing at that. No, we're not laughing at that. It's just she's correct. The way first of all, it's what she said, but it's the way she said it that was funny. You're not going to hear from women who got because they're. Sorry, that's just the reality, though. Like
it is,
we been there, done that. On the news, you're gonna hear about. Yes, that's what I always say. A lot of these women who don't want to listen to like women telling you to be safe. You don't want to listen. You're the women we're gonna hear about on the news. Like it's really that simple. And I'm not saying that it can't happen to any one of us at any moment.
And it does,
because it does. It happens to innocent women who don't do anything, that don't bother people all day, every day. But I'm just saying your odds are greatly increased when you.
And that's what we've always said on this podcast. So like, again, if any people come in the comments acting brand new, like I don't feel bad for you, because we've always said stay away from men in a general sense. It's just even more important now. And it's, again, this is not like victim blaming advice. It is the reality. And it's not us victim blaming women, it's the patriarchy. The patriarchy is going to victim blame you and make an example out of you. That Every is time. What it is. You're literally not safe. And if you try to act like you're safe, then
we're gonna hear
good
about
luck.
You
We're going to hear about you on the news.
We've just seen time and time again, every time, like the advice that we told women was like, go and go report it. Go take your abuser to trial. We've seen what happens to women who do exactly that. And it sucks so fucking hard. Like, because I know Amber was just so, like, I think about her all the time. Like, she's kind of like some of my Roman Empire thoughts going on up here, is that like, I think about how she was just completely humiliated. Like half the world was humiliating that poor woman, and all she was doing was saying that like, these are the things that happened to me. And then they were like, no, you're lying. And so now we see what happens when women come forward. And to a point, I do agree, but I also think that like, it's not that women should stop coming forward. I think we should actually just be working a little bit harder to change the ways in which women are able to report, and change the ways in which women are able to receive some form of protection, because there are a lot of cases where, you know, women have reported stalking and women have reported just like nonstop harassment, and the police are like, well, what do you want us to do about it? Like, what if we could change the way, like, I just don't want to limit our imagination in the ways that we can change the system to hopefully help benefit us over time. And like it seems like an uphill battle, but I do think that like while we still have rights, we should be trying to hopefully make things better for us. And
it's
I know
like
it's like
deer
fairy tales,
lobbying
but
to leopards. I mean, honestly, it's like, well, can y'all just make us a little safer? And they're like, no, we want to fucking eat you. Like, what
Yes.
the fuck don't you understand?
Right.
Like, why would we be held against the law when you're a deer and we're a fucking leopard?
Yeah.
Like, why? That's our nature. Like, the men are telling you this out loud. They're like, no, that's our nature. If we see you in a skirt, that is what it is.
You get what you
and
get.
it's like
Yeah.
at some point I'm going to start believing them. You know, if we're not going to believe women, let's believe men.
Right.
Okay? If we're not going to hashtag believe women, let's hashtag believe men when they say the fucked up shit that they say.
Yep.
And just stay away from them.
Absolutely.
That is what it is. Like physically. That is what we have to do that. Like I don't know. That's just where we have to wrap it up because I mean we could definitely kind of go back and forth on this all day, but producer Ryan has to edit all of it, and
I can see him now. Like
we're paying him literal peanuts right now, y'all. So just please believe men when they tell you who they are, and like believe women and all that. But it like trying to appeal to the system, like I said, is like trying to appeal to your natural predator, being like, well, what laws can we institute? It's like the fact that you even need to think about that is already like, it's already game over.
Absolutely.
The fact that you have to lobby the system to protect you against the people that it's mostly made up out of. Like,
and the people who created this system created it for that purpose to victimize
that's what I'm
you.
saying.
So yeah,
literally, it's like, it's not surprising.
the fish cannot tell the hawk, please don't swoop down and take me out the river.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get taken. Like there's no...
The
And
only
it's all
thing
a matter
fish
of which one they
is
can
adapt
catch
and improvise.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
And it's all about who they
Exactly.
can catch. And you know, it might be you today. It might be your cousin fish tomorrow. Like at the end of the day, like no, I'm just saying, like, you know, you can't
Not your fish cousin.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I don't know. I
right?
guess I still got
mean-
some fight left in me that like I really want better
And you
for
should.
women. And
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
We all
Maybe it's because I'm
Yes.
still
But in the meantime, until we get to better, we have to protect ourselves in any way,
I don't
any way,
disagree
shape, or
with
form.
the harm
Like,
reduction, but in a way, like I just don't want it to be misconstrued as victim blaming because at some point, like I do see where those women are coming from.
We've always
when they
told
hear us say
women
stuff like
learn martial arts.
I would victim
Get a
blame myself
GUN.
if I went and somebody date raped me or put a fucking pill or something in my drink because I left my drink to go to the bathroom. I would literally victim blame myself because I would be like, I know better. I know now. I'm just using it as an example. Like I would victim blame me. I'm not victim blaming any other woman because every woman don't know any better. I know better. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's why we don't victim blame, because we assume that women are not trying to get assaulted.
They're
like,
not.
Obviously,
Of course.
nobody's
Obviously
trying
not.
to do that. But there's also such a thing as being like blind, willfully, blind to like the reality. And
surroundings
the
and-
reality
yeah.
is bleak, and we've never shied away from that. It's just kind of time to say it out loud with this verdict, right? Like, because it's telling us something. I don't want y'all to miss this because this is not an ideological conversation.
It's not.
This is a practical conversation. Ideologically, obviously, I will always continue to fight for women to be believed. I will always believe women. I will always champion women who have come forward and said something, and I will believe them until the very, very end. Because most of the time they're
not lying.
They're not lying. And I will always fight that the justice system actually gives men their comeuppance and like punishes them properly for the crimes that they've committed. But that is not always going to be the reality. Sometimes these predators are going to be given permission. And that happened.
Like Diddy.
Like I said, with us starting this podcast the day after the election, right? What were the men saying? Your body, my choice. Because right then and there on that day, they were given that permission.
Yep.
And we no longer live in Barbie land, not that we ever did, but like
If we
the
thought we
stark
did, we know
contrast.
now.
If we thought we did for one
Yeah.
second, yeah, we've just come back and it's the patriarchy. Like it, and it's been given permission to thrive. And a lot of women, just like in the Barbie movie, they're going to be brainwashed and they're going to need to be told, like their eyes are going to need to be open, whether it's via canon event or whether it's via they're just going to listen and learn and pick up on the patterns and hopefully just come to that conclusion on their own. But that is what we're in the unbrainwashing stage at this point. And it's going to become messier and uglier and less safe before
it gets better.
Before it gets better, if at all.
I can accept that answer.
I would say ask yourself before you get ready to do something, do I want to become a cautionary tale? Do I want to be the example made out of something? Like for like why I would never be a roller coaster tester, for an example. Because somebody asked me that not too long ago. They're like, would you be the person that take the brand new built roller coaster for a test drive? No, I would rather be person number 7,000. I don't want to be the first, because you're the cautionary tale at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever happens, you're going to be the example of what not to do or what you should have done. So in order for women to stay safe, just ask yourself, do you want to be made an example out of in this particular situation? And
trust your gut. Like your gut's trying to keep you safe. If you find yourself being like, that's it. That's your answer. That's your answer. If you're like, is this guy? Nope.
And stop trying to be nice. Stop trying to appeal and say, well, I don't want him to think I'm a mean bitch, because if you get killed and end up in a ditch, life is going to go on without you and no one's going to give a fuck. I promise you. People are going to move on tomorrow. And while you were too busy trying to be
reality.
nice. Yeah, you were too busy trying to be nice and your life just got snuffed out for no reason because you didn't trust your gut instinct. Like, no, it is never that serious. Trust your gut. That first little, I don't know. Just go with it, because it's better to be safe than sorry.
And we've always said this, so please don't act brand new in the comments.
Oh, we said this from the first episode.
This is not, and like I said, it's not going to be fun to hear. It's not fun for us to say. But it's time for us to say the quiet part sort of like really out loud. We live in a different time now. Yeah. This is the times that we were warning everybody about. This is why women fought so hard, to try and elect Kamala. And this is where we've unfortunately ended up. So now it's time to
it's only about to get worse.
I do think we're in The Handmaid's Tale without the outfits. Low-key, I do see that now.
So act accordingly. That's all. We'll be right back with our mailbag, and we will dig in after this break. All right, let's dig into our mailbag. It is a voice note this time, so none of us have to read it, so let's all listen in together.
Hey ladies, I'm a millennial girly, and like a lot of millennials, I really crave nostalgia. The issue with that is my nostalgia drops me right into the midst of the early aughts, and the deeper I go into decentering men, the more I notice the wild messaging in music of that time. I love 2000s music, hip-hop, R&B, and pop, but so many of my once beloved tunes now give me the ick because of the blatant misogynistic messaging. I just can't mindlessly listen anymore. And so in an effort to keep my nostalgic summer vibe, I put together a Spotify playlist with really fun, great millennial tunes, but without the misogyny. I'd like to share that playlist with you, and I'd love any feedback or collaboration from your listeners. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a start. And so I'm wondering if you guys ever go back to movies or music from your growing up teen years and think, what the heck was I doing singing along to this song?
All the time. All the time.
And it's always worse than you imagine. It's always worse. God. You're always like, how bad can it be? And then it's worse.
I love that, because I always wonder how many people out there feel the same way. And I don't know if that's a millennial thing, because I don't usually hear it coming from other groups of, I don't know. But I just think for us, it's definitely a thing. Like we were talking, remember in the earlier episodes of the podcast, and we were talking about pick me music, the music that we listened to, we grew up to, and it turned out to be like, this is just the pick me anthem. Like, what the hell and we were singing along to it, not even realizing.
Catered to You by Destiny's Child.
I never fully embraced that song ever.
No, me neither. I was like, this is literally crazy. Can he not untie his own shoelaces?
Yeah, I was like, why? I just was like, why?
Yes, Avril Lavigne, terrible.
Which one was that?
I mean, the millennial anthem.
Girlfriend.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember how it
Hey,
goes.
hey, you, I don't like your
I could be-
girlfriend.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
no
remember
way,
now.
no way.
I
I
could
could
be
be
a
a
new
new
one.
one.
She married that guy from Nickelback. Yeah, the guy. They got divorced though. And yeah, it is really, really hard. And outside of like a certain few tracks, there really isn't a whole lot that wasn't touched by the sexual liberation epidemic of the 2000s.
Yeah.
And I mean, our millennial party anthem literally starts with "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy."
Yeah.
Like,
She
rest in
re-recorded that,
peace.
though.
Rest in peace to that song. Yeah, and good for her. And good for her. And like knowing everything that she went through in the music industry, God,
Yeah.
you know.
That's that Kesha.
I'm definitely not
Kesha girl or
blaming.
whatever.
Yeah. Definitely not blaming her for anything. But God,
Me
it's
neither.
terrible. There was definitely a lot of songs that could be, you know, like their girl boss anthems or whatever. And it's just, it was one of those things where it was pandering to us too, though, because it would be on an album with Cater to You. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, Independent Woman.
Yeah. Survivor.
Cater to You.
Well, Survivor wasn't on there, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. And so I remember touching on this a while ago too, where we were talking about love songs are all songs that program women to put up with cheating, put up with abuse, put up with just being done wrong by a man, because especially in R&B, like in the Black community, like every fucking song, every male song is either I'm trying to get you, or I got you and I hurt you and please forgive me for hurting you. Like every song you listen
Every
to,
single
every
song.
single song has
There's
those
no
two
song
backgrounds.
that's just purely like, this is why I like you. This is why you're an amazing woman. It's like you took me back.
Yeah.
You forgave me, or please take me back. Please forgive me. I cheated on you with your cousin.
Literally.
And I got her pregnant.
Yeah. Please
Next
forgive
thing
me.
I know, oh my God.
Side chick
Usher.
songs was rampant in the 90s. Like side chick
Rampant.
songs, like
Yes.
a lot
Sung
of
by
those
women
songs,
and men.
women and men. I listen to some of those songs now, like The Caller. Yeah, and I'm just like, wait, this song was about sharing somebody, you know, or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my God. But the good thing with me is that, yes, there are a few songs that make me not even want to listen to it anymore once I really know like what it's about. But I'm able to cut it off. I'm able to like separate the two. So like I can hear a song and be like, oh wow, that song was diabolical. But it's still etched in my mind, in my brain.
Of course.
The music, the instruments used, like I love the beat, the melody. So like I know how to separate that. Even with artists that people have canceled, I can separate them from their music. I may hate you, but I don't like Future. I cannot stand Future. But I like a lot of his music. Like I can't stand him, but he got the voice. He has like the perfect voice for his music. Like he has a sound, and I see why he was given.
He's a trendsetter.
Why he was given a record deal. Yeah.
Yes, he's a trendsetter. He whatever he does, all the other men are going to copy in music.
Absolutely.
When he started doing the little voice thing, I told my husband, who thought it was really stupid, I was like, "Mark my words, this is what everyone is going to be doing," and sure enough. Every rapper now is like, da-da-da-da-da.
I think I just found that out recently. Yeah. And Kanye West is another person. I literally hate who Kanye West have become or who he always was or whatever. I don't know. But that College Dropout album or the Graduation album, like I just can't, like I can listen to it and it instantly takes me back to those times. And there were good times.
A lot of people
and I'm sorry, I just can't. Yeah, I can't.
Oh, yeah.
So I know how to separate the two. I can listen to a whole Kanye West album and not even care about the weirdo that he's become.
Yeah. I'm like, the only thing that makes me feel okay about it is knowing that Spotify pays dick.
Yeah.
If artists were being properly compensated, there would be a lot more of like a moral, heaviness associated with it. But me, I'm like, you know what? Enjoy the 0.0000000.
Yes, they're getting paid pennies
Exactly.
per listen, if that.
Like, I'm not buying albums.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to, I'm not
like,
doing none
you
of
will
that.
literally never even get a full penny from the amount of times that I've listened to, certain music.
That's so true.
And there is certain artists where I can't separate, like they're blocked on my Spotify, but I get it. Like the line, you have to draw the line somewhere because all these men are terrible people. There's not one man in the music industry.
And that's always been my mindset too.
It's like, we're not going to listen to music anymore.
And I'm like, I'm not going my life without listening to music.
And listen,
I'm not.
Whoever feels like they need to do that, do it.
I agree.
Do it.
Some people can't separate the two, and some people are like, no, it's a moral thing, and some people are like, no, I just don't like this person. You have every right to feel that way. However you feel is your right. But I would have to literally block out every song that I've ever heard in my life growing up and pretend like it didn't happen.
No, seriously.
And I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, I'm not even trying to do that.
I think it's a generational
because
thing.
if we found out the story, if we found out the shit behind the scenes that these men have done, like, you would have to literally boycott all music.
Oh my God. Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? They're all terrible.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
absolutely,
I'm not doing that. If you can be good at what you. I've always been very fair and balanced. Like, I could not like you, but I will never say you're not talented if you're talented. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care who you are. If you have a talent, I'm gonna always give you your props on that part. And that's with men and women.
And it's crazy because even the women that were making their own way, like back in that day and like singing about real shit, like I'm a huge Keisha Cole fan because she had a lot of songs that was like, if he's don't love you the way he should, then let him go. Like, I should have cheated. Like,
yes, absolutely.
You know that, yes, period, right. But she has a song with Diddy, so it's like, what am I gonna?
You want to hear what's crazy? That's my favorite song of her.
I know.
I just love that fucking song.
I know.
The beat, it just gets you up and it just makes you just want to start dancing. Like, it's one of those songs. Like, you can't even help yourself.
I know. And I don't even know where, I don't even know, like, couldn't even tell you where he is on that track. But, like, I know that song and I love that song. And it's on my, throwback playlist. I'm like, I don't even know what he's doing on there. That he was really talented at, like, not even doing the feature.
I know.
You know, like...
I
don't even know where you're at.
Right.
You got the credit, but did you do anything on there?
I wonder, did he produce it or?
Yeah, it's probably like
I think he produced that song because I seen clips of him in the studio with her. She's in the studio and he's like telling her she needs to sing this part with more umph or with more feeling or whatever, and then he would go back and rewind it. Like, no, let's do that again. So I think he produced that song, if I'm not mistaken. I heard his voice on there a few times, maybe. But that's one of my favorite Keisha Cole songs. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
You know, and she was incredible. So it's like, I'm not gonna not listen.
And she's such a pick-me. That's one. That's
really?
One. Yeah, she's so male-centered. She's so male-centered. Somebody else wrote them songs. I don't know if I'm not claiming she didn't write her songs. I don't know if she did or not.
Shout out to Girlie who made the playlist. Keisha Cole is
it's on
at
there?
the top. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Let It Go.
Oh, that's another one.
Nice.
That's another song.
No, that's
like.
a good one. Yeah, that's a little.
You know what's funny? I think I was just listening to that. Like, I want to say a week ago. Like, before we went on our break, I just heard that song. That's another one that I like.
Yeah, this is a good playlist.
She's a hopeless romantic. She's one of those hopeless romantic women, in my opinion.
I know.
She's never gonna.
Bummer.
Like, she's one of those women to me that's just gonna be heartbroken forever.
But yeah, ladies, I don't know. At this point, like I'm just gonna keep reiterating. We live in a imperfect world, and it's getting worse every day. So honestly, to me, it's like, just do what makes you happy. If you can stand to listen to the music and it makes you happy, listen to it, dance to it, reclaim it. You know what I mean? Like,
twerk
to it, release that trauma.
Anywhere we can find joy these days.
Anywhere where you can find joy.
I agree.
Exactly. Just take it because it is a finite resource these days. It is scarce.
Twerking at home in the mirror when you're just by yourself is like the most freeing thing ever. Just in case y'all don't do that, just do it one day.
The real liberation.
I swear. Just do it. No one has to be around.
Liberation.
You might feel awkward at first, but you'll get over it and it's fine.
In fact, make sure nobody's around. Dance like no one's watching.
Absolutely. Dance around the house. Play your favorite music. Just be in the zone.
And honestly, like, this is the time, kind of coming back to the advice we gave earlier, it's like, this is the time for you to invest in yourself as a woman. This is what women were doing. We're going to become spinsters now. you know, and we're going to wear that badge proudly. Women who invest in themselves, you know, and like women who don't make being with a man or their relationship or anything like that the most interesting thing about them, you know? Like we should always strive. Yeah,
so
right.
whack.
And it's like instead of going to a party where you're hoping to like meet a guy or be around men or whatever, like get your adrenaline up, whatever. Like, yeah, seriously, first of all. Don't go. Invest in yourself.
Please.
Invest in yourself. Do not invest even in like trying to keep your, you know, like going to these parties. Well, what can I do to keep myself safe? Like all of that is a waste of time. Ultimately, it's a waste of time and it's
energy.
putting yourself in danger.
It's so taxing.
The most dangerous thing you can be, the most dangerous thing you can be is a self-sufficient, independent woman. That is the only way you're going to hurt the patriarchy because it needs our blood to survive and being confident. Exactly. So yeah, don't let the patriarchy drink your blood to survive.
You and these references.
I'm telling
the patriarchy is a vampire.
It is.
And it feeds
on women
and girls. And sometimes boys, but that's all another
Too
topic.
true. Speaking of, we have a movie review coming up and I just watched Sinners and that was amazing.
I just watched it.
Yeah? Okay.
Saturday?
Gwen, can you get on board before next week?
Yes.
It's on HBO. I think you'll like it.
Wasn't it in Texas? Or was it Louisiana?
Louisiana?
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi.
Ooh.
It was Mississippi. It sure was.
They kept making Louisiana references.
Yeah, that's probably where I got that from. Yeah.
Excellent movie.
It actually was. I enjoyed it.
Look up all the references to make sure you don't miss anything because there's a lot as a white person that I wasn't like catching, you know? And so I had to go back and like look up the Spark Notes and everything.
The last time that I heard you could like watch Sinners was like at the movie theater. So like what channel or like what
they
service
just
should I
put
be
it on HBO Max.
They just put it on there either Friday or Saturday, I think it was.
And we were like
4th of July, yeah.
Okay, so that'll be our next film review. That'll be so fun to review because I'll watch it again.
Me too.
So no poll this time.
Yeah, no poll this time. This is a authoritarian takeover.
We're not democracy right now.
Whatever. We've decided.
Democracy is dead.
We'll bring back the polls.
Is that Beyonce on your shirt? I've been meaning to ask that this whole time.
Shirt. Yes.
Isn't that funny how it just looks like Beyonce without even seeing like...
She's so iconic. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't even need to see the holes.
Her merch is
just
good.
a silhouette. Her merch is so good. I literally bought multiple and I had friends buy me more.
Really?
They were at the DC shows. I was like, can one of you get me the blue shirt too? Because I want it. Because like the amount of I've been wearing this shirt, I'm like, I'm going to need a backup shirt. And then I got the little jersey too. That's like cropped.
Really?
I love me some high quality merch.
Yeah.
I do. And it's like it was such a memory to be able to go to the show and like it was funny watching Sinners afterwards because she captured that vibe so well within this concert.
Really?
That like Southern Gothic, like she literally had like an Irish like tap dancer.
Really?
Like
cool.
Yes, a little
so
girl
cool.
that, and I put together a little 8-minute clip of all my concert footage for myself, and I've just watched it every day.
Really?
We literally like came home and was like, I miss her.
Really?
We literally just being in her like presence is so powerful because it reminds you like, damn, like you can do big things, you know, like you really can. Yeah. The way that she does it is by having that team around her. And it's just such a testament to the things we can do together. You know, it's like if somebody has the vision and everybody kind of rallies around
and play their
it's
part.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've actually been to movies like that in the past where you leave the movie and it still lingers on the aura of the movie, just whoever the main actors were or whatever, it just lingers on you after you leave out the theater. Yeah.
Yes. You're kind of like, I miss them. Yeah, I want to see it again just to experience it. I was looking up the Las Vegas tickets, girl. I was like, okay, wait.
Oh, really?
That's
the next place they're going or whatever? Or
the flights are what got me. I almost bought the ticket. I almost went by myself. Damn. Yeah. Yeah, so y'all make sure you go check out that playlist. It'll be in the description, and it is an excellent piece of work. So good job, and thank you to our dear listener who took the time to put it together. Let's see what the poll results were from last week. So the question was, what do you think makes the pink pill and similar ideologies so appealing to women? And the options were they feel failed by mainstream feminism and feel it moves too slowly and are lured in with the promise of quick solutions. B, these spaces offer simple, clear answers, even if they're extreme when the world feels too complex. C, they're isolated or hurting and these communities validate their anger and pain. Or D, online algorithms reward more extreme content, so people are slowly pulled in without noticing. What do y'all think it is?
Yeah, B.
All the above.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is all of the
Yeah.
above.
It usually is, yeah. But yeah, the most common one was definitely B. I do think it's so tempting to just have a clear answer and to just have like a binary system where you're like, this is yes and this is no. And it feels good. But man, it's just not the way the world works. And that is ultimately the fascism pipeline. So let's not. But yeah, option C was also very popular on the Spotify poll, the validates pain and anger. And I can see that. I really do think a lot of women are like, I want to feel seen. You know, I want to hear that. Yeah, that I'm validated in my anger, that I'm validated in my, you know, almost this disappointment and like hopelessness, which, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of that out there, a lot for us to feel validated by, unfortunately.
Yeah.
God, I almost wish I could tell women like, no, you're crazy. No, you can't, really can't. Well, anyway, thanks, ladies. It feels so good to be back. I've missed y'all. Thank you. Another huge shout out to Reagan for coming and guest hosting. And hopefully we'll have a couple more guest hosts as, you know, Gwen might be out coming up in the summer.
Winter.
Oh, gosh, sorry.
It's okay.
For some reason, I thought it was like happening
real soon
in the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll bring back some guest hosts then also. And we have a guest coming up next week. We've got Fleeksy, so please keep an eye out. We are so excited to talk to her. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.